video about my van is how we put the solar panels on the top. So what can I say? Let's get going. Right, starting with my van. Hang on, that's not my van. This van, what I decided what to do was to get the biggest panels I thought I could fit on the top. So I went with 285 300 watt domestic sized panels, and I knew I'd want to tilt them, so I thought I'd better get them some hinges, and well, why not? The old doors on, and doors are bigger than panels, so they've got a big hood, and I'll use 3 of them on each one. Well, as you can see, I'm invalidating my warranty. I drew in holes in the aluminium of the side of the panel. I'm not using the holes they provide, but the holes they provide aren't spaced a third of the distance apart, so who cares? They were second hand anyway. As you can see, we're kind of double skinned here, and because these bolts have got a shoulder to them, I've had to drill an 8mm hole, take that, and then it's a 6mm hole on the other side to take the bolt, and then on the other side I'm putting thread rock onto the bolts as I tighten them in. And as you can see, there was a mounting hole here for that panel, but there wasn't one there, it's way down there. So I prefer my spacing to theirs, and if they can drill holes in it, I can drill holes in it. That's how I see it. And then I can attach them to some thick galvanised steel roof bars, which I can bolt to the top of the van with some big heavy duty bolts, and then I know they're never going to come off, unlike them frigging idiots that just use Sikaflex and glue the corners of the panel to the paintwork on the van, because, well, the paintwork never comes off, does it? A cheap way of making waterproof washers to go on the roof, like foot, bracket, mount, whatever you want to call them. Turn it upside down under a bit of wood, drill the same size hole in the wood so the bolt can go all the way down. Get some bicycle in a tube and cut a piece off. Put your piece of tube over the hole, and then get your bolt, whack it with hammer. Once you've whacked it with hammer, just take your bolt out, and you've got 2 washers when you cut it in half with scissors. There you go, 2 for the price of 1. And then put nuts on one side, put bolts through, put nuts on one side, put some thread rock on, so you know the nuts don't come off. And I can tell you another thing about thread rock: it's not poisonous. It's not poisonous to bunnies, because our bunny, he got that, he chilled the bottom out and he drank the whole bottle full, and about the only thing it did was make his coat go a bit more shiny. So, you know, I can vouch for it not being poisonous to bunnies, although I don't think it's a recommended kind of food source for them. So, hinges, bolts, panels on top of van went with some 40mm square galvanised roof bars, because they're thick and tough and they're heavy duty, and I don't want out that's wibbly wobbly when they've got panels on them. So the roof bars are on the van, then they're bolted to the van with 2 bolts through the roof. I wasn't messing about with the fasteners that are already on the van, because they're a strange and odd shape and they weren't designed for these bars, so I just went 2 M10 stainless bolts straight through van, nuts underneath, and that's about it for you know, the bars. Now we've got to get the panels thrown up on top. Right, I had this kind of ingenious but mad idea for getting the panels on, because we couldn't, you know, just, the van's 9 foot tall and then there's another half a foot for the bar height, so getting panels that are 5 foot by 3 foot and trying to balance them on your head and get them 9.5 foot onto the top of the van proved a bit tricky. So what we thought we'd do is put them on stilts. Yeah, so adding some steel to the side of each one and then kind of standing them up so that they be tall enough to get to the top of the van, and then grabbing hold of the stilts that they're on and using the stilts to manipulate them onto the top of the roof. And well, as you can see, it's a bit of a nightmare, and we got one on that way. And you know, if it hadn't been for helper Jim, who's kind of the same height as me, so that we was even, I'd have been a bit stuffed. And I thought, this just is not a good way, because even when you get it onto the van, it's just no, it's a bad idea. Don't do it that way. If you think it's the same idea as me, don't do it. Just get 2 pairs of ladders and then the 2 of you can stand on one set each. You've got one hand to hold your ladder, you've got another hand to hold your panel, and then both of you just go up one step at a time until you're to the top, and then just put it on. You know, much easier to do it that way. Once you've got one on that way, your next one's easier, because, well, we had to do 2 that way because we did the first one with the stilt method. But that's it, then they're on, and you know, jobs are good, and then it's down to wiring them up. That's very simple. Just buy some thick cable. I forgot what kind of size people suggested in wire gauge, but 4mm cable is what I used. Actually, I tell a lie, I didn't. But yeah, 4mm cable minimum on panels that size, I think. And then just run them back to your charge controller. Do not buy cheap and nasty eBay charge controllers. You'll pay a fortune for a decent controller. There's only 2 types. There's PWM, and they come under one type called crap. Then there's MPPT, and they come under other type of good. And that's, you know, you've got 2 choices, crap or good. Now when you get into the good ones, into the MPPT ones, you'll find that you can buy genuine, fully working good. They're all to a very similar standard. The difference in performance is a single digit of %. So you're going to get a cheap one that might do 90% of what the best one can do. But the price difference could be 4 times as much for that 10% extra. So you might pay like £30 for a cheap one that does 90%, but you'll pay £120 for the one that does 10% more. Is it worth it? That's the question. It's either MPPT and it's 90% or above good, or it's in the crap PWM category, which runs at about 30% efficiency or something stupid. There's not much choice. Just buy the good, just buy genuine MPPT and buy a cheap one.